Hello and welcome to today's session. I hope you're all doing amazingly well. From whichever part of the world you are watching now, I bet all of you are wondering. Today, Wednesday or Thursday, I normally jump on live here every Thursday at 9 a.m. But I thought today, because it's such a special week and I am promoting the Wellness Consultant Blueprint, that I would jump on quickly and actually tell you about the mistakes I see many wellness leaders make when they're transitioning into consulting. And the reason I want to share that with you so that you don't make those mistakes. And don't worry, tomorrow I still will be doing my live. I will be talking about what exactly you get inside the Wellness Consultant Blueprint, and more importantly, what the experience is to actually become a consultant. Now, I wish someone had pulled me aside 18 years ago to tell me, Sonal, this is what your journey is going to look like. And that would have just prepared me in a very different way. It doesn't mean I wouldn't have gone through all that turmoil. It just means that I would have been better equipped to actually manage the difficult parts within the journey. I'll also talk about the skills you will need to develop. And finally, what results you will create if you're brave enough, if you're committed enough to see your consulting business past the finish line. But before that, today, I wanted to talk about the common mistakes I see wellness leaders make when they're trying to transition into consulting. And then when they make these mistakes, they think that consulting is not for them or consulting doesn't work. And what they don't realize is that isn't true. It's just that what they are doing is not taking them down a path that is going to serve them, a path that is going to make them successful wellness consultants. So, here are the common mistakes I see wellness leaders, spa directors, wellness directors make when they want to start transitioning into consulting. So, the first mistake I see people make is that you try to make it work within your current hotel's system. So you pitch a new wellness program, you create new projects, you try to show the return on investment they'll get, you try to educate your GM, your owners about wellness trends. And you hope that if you just work a bit harder, that you convince them just a wee bit more, that you will prove the value of wellness. You will prove to your property that wellness is important and they will finally invest in it. The second mistake I see wellness leaders make is that they look for better or bigger spa director roles. So, what does this look like? It looks like you could have created your very great mountain of value working in probably smaller properties or brands that aren't known. And then you think the top 5 or 6 luxury brands out there know how to do wellness. They're so amazing. So you jump ship from where you are and you go to these bigger brands in the hope that you will live a very different reality. And what happens is that 6 months down the line, while you love many things about these luxury brands, you actually realize even luxury hospitality does not take wellness as seriously as you do. And the other way this shows is that this property is, it could be an amazing brand. I don't like this. I'm having so much problem here. This GM doesn't get wellness. This hotel manager, I don't get along with them. These owners, it's not going to work out. So I'm going to jump ship to the hotel next door. And you think that you will park away all your problems and that in the new hotel, new owners, new GM, new team, new property, that suddenly all your problems will go. And 6 months in, you realize, oh my God, my problems haven't gone. My problems have just followed me. So you're living the same reality, just in a different hotel. The third mistake people do is you try to restructure your role so that you only focus on strategy. And you're pitching to your hotel to get someone else to handle the day-to-day operations of spa. So all the firefighting, guest complaints, therapists calling in sick, maintenance issues. You want someone else to be dealing with that. And you just want to be paid as the strategist while someone else does the day-to-day operations. The fourth mistake I see many wellness leaders make, and this particularly happens when you go very high up. So you're a regional or a global director. You go through what I call the identity crisis. You know you've reached this crystal ceiling, and you know that the positions left at this level are few and far fetched. And also because you have worked up the ranks and you probably have a few years of experience under your belt and you are older, your life requires a different kind of reality. Something about all these seductive jobs out there is that you either don't have the lifestyle that you want, it's in a country that you don't want, or you don't have the right package. So what happens is you're like, oh, maybe I can become a consultant, but I'm a wellness expert. So what you do is you just dance around in this no man's land. So you are that expert, but you're definitely not that consultant. But the irony of it all is that you want to transition into consulting, or you want to transition into having your own business, even if you don't call that consulting. The fifth mistake I see wellness leaders make is they either conform or they play it small. Um, and what this looks like is that you've outgrown your role, that your job does no longer stimulate you. And you're becoming practical. You're kind of seeing, okay, there are not many jobs out there. I like what I do. This is what I have left. And you just kind of quietly quit. You stay in your job, but long gone, you've checked out and you are doing the bare minimum to keep that role going because you can, technically speaking, do it in your sleep. So you are waiting for change to happen instead of making that change. And the last mistake we make, and this is different from the one where we're talking about the identity crisis that we have when we're dancing between being that spa expert or we're not really that spa consultant, is the idea that you are toying with the idea of consulting. So when you're unhappy in your role where you are, you think, okay, I could definitely become a consultant. I see all these hotels or all these properties opening. I could definitely give my expertise to them. And then suddenly one day you have something amazing happen in your hotel and you think, oh, maybe this is not that too bad. I can actually pitch a more advanced role here. So you don't fully commit into consulting. It's something that you think that you could do because it's not something you're not 100% convinced and you're between, let's say, I maybe want to become a consultant, but you're not fully committed to it. And the reasons these mistakes don't serve us is that each one of them, they get us back to square one. We're in a position we've long outgrown. There are no other positions left for us. And the only way we can grow is by taking a leap. Either setting up shop on our own, or trying to find the very few available high big picture strategy roles that exist in our industry. Now, The reason why these mistakes do not serve us is that, let's take the first one where you are trying to pitch or you're looking within your current hotel system, the hotel where they're not fully giving you even a voice at the hotel's big table, and you're pitching wellness to them. Now, here's why that is a mistake, and here's why it doesn't work. It's because you're trying to fight a losing battle. You can't fix a system that's not broken for them. The hotel industry is working exactly as designed. Trust me, it's a very, very well oiled operational machine. You have food and beverage giving part of your revenue, 30 to 40%, and rest is rooms, residences. That is what gives the bulk of the revenue, 40 and 50%. And if you look at what spa and wellness actually contributes to the entire brand's portfolio, you're lucky if it'll even be seen as even 1%. So for them, as a business, they have investors, they have shareholders, they have profit targets. They will always prioritize what drives the most revenue. I mean, this isn't personal. This is math. It doesn't mean they don't take wellness seriously. And the problem what you really need to understand is that you're not failing to convince them. You are trying to solve a problem that doesn't even exist for them. So the system isn't broken from their perspective. It's working fine. So you're always going to be fighting a losing battle if you're trying to pitch in a current hotel system where wellness is not top priority. The other reason why these mistakes don't work, and this is specifically when you're looking to jump ship for a better opportunity, a bigger spa, a flashier brand, is that you're using the wrong measuring stick. So you think better hotel, better brand means better wellness opportunity. But that's not true. A bigger budget, a flashier brand doesn't mean they value wellness more. It means they have more money to lose when they need to make cuts. And guess what gets cut first when things go really rough? The thing that only gives them a few percent of total hotel revenue, and that is wellness. How many times have we seen renowned hotel brands chop the heads of wellness because they no longer have seen it as a priority? So you're measuring opportunity by budget size or the luxury of a brand, the luxurious aspect of a brand, when you should really be measuring the problem fit. The other reason why it's a mistake, why none of these mistakes work, and specifically the one where you are trying to pitch a strategy role to your current hotel while you have someone else manage operations, is that honestly, what you're trying to do is get rid of the work that isn't fun. You are not creating value. The energy, if you're being truly honest, the intent behind your proposal is not one of value creation. It is of what you don't want to do. So you're thinking about you, not what the hotel needs or what the people behind you need as their growth trajectory. And trust me, your GM and your owners can smell that. They can see that you're trying to offload the parts that you don't like, the hard headaches that you no longer want to do. And that's very difficult to pitch. And I also want you to know that strategy only works if it's grounded in operational reality. And the reason your concepts work is precisely because you understand operations. And when you try to separate them, you diminish your own value. I'm 18 years into consulting, and I design very complex wellness concepts. And I also help owners get funding for their wellness resorts. And I still, until today, make sure I'm connected to daily operations. Because there is no way my big picture strategy will ever work if the people on the ground are unable to implement it. And I constantly am battling to close that gap, to make my big picture strategy realistic. Because if it isn't realistic, if it's not implementable, my concepts will never work. And the other reason, this mistake of one of the mistakes that you make that doesn't work, which is precisely when you are not fully claiming your identity of, let's say, I want to be that spa consultant, is that you get stuck in this place called no man's land. You aren't clear what you want to be. You are having that identity crisis. And there's a part of you that has this kind of shame towards being called that spa consultant. Because supposedly spa consultants are people who are in between jobs. And if that is the energy you're transmitting to the world, no one will know whether you can help them. They're like, what does this person do? Yes, they're an expert, but what are they doing in their lives now? Yes, they were the spa director of XYZ, but now what? And we have all these fancy titles that people have put instead of just saying spa wellness consultant. And when you don't try to claim your identity, you're actually going to hurt your consulting business. Because when people need your help, they don't care about your ego. They just know, can this person help me? And honestly, what does this person do? And if you call yourself a wellness weaver or an advocate or the strategist, whatever you call it, people will be thinking, what is that? Can this person help me? And the other reason that these mistakes don't work, and this is specifically going to when you are conforming or playing small, when you're quietly quitting, is that is where the real pain is. It's actually far more painful to stay in something you have long outgrown than to actually stretch yourself and go into a new place that you probably still need to develop the skills. Now, if you stop and think about it, if you wear shoes that are too small for you, it's very, very painful. And you will eventually hurt yourself if you continue to wear shoes that are too small. And on the other hand, if you actually wear shoes that fit your size, you could, technically speaking, if you wanted to, run an ultra. So playing small is actually painful. And you are hurting yourself more. Now, if that was not even bad enough, here's the worst thing. You are blocking the people behind you to take a job that they really, really want, the job that you don't want. You're blocking their career. You're blocking their growth because you're not brave enough to step into your next chapter of growth. And lastly, the reason you sit toying with consulting, like, okay, maybe I'll do this, maybe I won't. And this is different from when you're having that identity crisis, when there is that shame around being called a spa consultant. When you are toying is when what's truly motivating that is fear of failure, fear, will this work, I'm not sure. And then you start having thoughts of maybe where I am is not too bad, or maybe I'll get another VP position. It's just the fear of entering into the unknown. And the reason that that doesn't work is that you're trying to jump into consulting without a safety net. You're jumping off a cliff without a chute. And the Wellness Consultant Blueprint, step 5 of that, is precisely around building the safety net. Now, I have a very, very high tolerance to risk. But even me, I would never jump off a cliff without a chute. And that is why in the blueprint, I ensure that you have that safety net so that you're no longer toying with the idea. You can actually say, I can safely take this next step and I will still be able to cover expenses. And if it doesn't work out, I would have tried, but at least I'm not short of pocket. So those are the mistakes I see wellness leaders make when they're trying to transition into consulting. And I want to make sure that you don't make those mistakes. So tomorrow I'll be talking more about what's in the Wellness Consultant Blueprint, the experience you'll have, the skills you need to develop, and what results you will create for yourself. Join me then. Take care now. Bye.